Before Hollywood was a word, before it meant fame, money, and movies, it was nothing more than quiet land under a burning sun. No red carpets, no studios, no stars, just hills, dust, orange groves, and endless sky. This is the story of how that empty land became the most powerful dream factory in human history. It begins in the late 1800s, far away from California, in places like New York, New Jersey, and Chicago. This is where motion pictures were born, not as art, not as entertainment, but as a technological experiment. Early films were short, silent, and shaky. People didn't go to theaters. They gathered around machines called Nickelodeons, dropping a nickel to watch moving images flicker on a screen for a few minutes. At the center of this early film world stood one man who controlled almost everything, Thomas Edison. Edison didn't just invent the light bulb, he patented film cameras, projectors, and even the methods used to show movies. If you wanted to make films legally, you had to pay Edison, and if you didn't, his lawyers would find you. Many early filmmakers didn't want to play by those rules, so they ran. They packed their cameras, actors, and props and moved as far away from Edison's reach as possible. West, all the way west, to California. And California offered something magical: sunlight. In the early days of filmmaking, artificial lighting was weak and unreliable, but California had sunlight almost all year round. Filmmakers could shoot outdoors anytime, without expensive equipment. The land was cheap, the weather was perfect, and if Edison's agents ever showed up, filmmakers could simply disappear into Mexico, just a few miles away. One small area near Los Angeles stood out. It was called Hollywood. At the time, Hollywood was a quiet farming community. The name itself came from a real estate developer who thought it sounded elegant. No one imagined it would become immortal. By the 1910s, film companies began setting up small studios there. Nothing fancy: wooden buildings, open fields, fake towns built for westerns. Directors shot scenes quickly, cheaply, and efficiently. Movies were still silent, but they were growing longer, bolder, and more ambitious. Then came the stars. Audiences began recognizing faces on screen. Actors were no longer anonymous performers. They became personalities, icons. Studios realized something powerful. People didn't just come to see stories, they came to see people. Thus, the Hollywood star system was born. Studios like Paramount, Warner Bros., MGM, Universal, and Fox rose to dominance. They controlled everything: actors, directors, writers, theaters, publicity. If you worked for a studio, they owned your image, your schedule, sometimes even your personal life. Hollywood became a factory. Scripts were written on tight deadlines, films were produced assembly line style, glamour was carefully manufactured. Actors were given new names, new personalities, and carefully crafted scandals to stay in the public eye. But behind the glitter, Hollywood was ruthless. Contracts trapped actors for years. Studios decided who became famous and who disappeared. Success was fragile. Failure was permanent. Then, in 1927, Hollywood changed forever. A movie called The Jazz Singer was released, and it spoke. For the first time, audiences heard a human voice coming from the screen. The era of silent films died almost overnight. Actors who couldn't adapt to sound vanished. Accents, voices, and speech suddenly mattered. Careers ended, new ones were born. Hollywood reinvented itself again. During the Great Depression, when much of America struggled to survive, Hollywood offered escape. Musicals, comedies, and grand adventures flooded theaters. For a few hours, people could forget hunger, poverty, and fear. Movies became dreams you could buy. Then came World War II. Hollywood didn't just entertain, it became propaganda. Films promoted patriotism, unity, and hope. Stars joined the war effort. Directors made documentaries. Cinema became a weapon of morale. After the war, Hollywood entered what many call its golden age. Color films exploded onto the screen. Epics, romances, and film noir defined the era. Stars like Humphrey Bogart, Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, and James Dean became legends. But power always attracts fear. In the 1950s, Hollywood was shaken by paranoia. The Red Scare swept America. Writers, actors, and directors were accused of being communists. Many were blacklisted, unable to work, erased from the industry overnight. Hollywood survived, but it was scarred. At the same time, a new enemy appeared: television. People no longer needed to leave home for entertainment. Movie theaters emptied. Studios panicked. So Hollywood adapted again. Films became bigger, louder, and more spectacular. Wide screens, massive sets, epic stories. If television was small, cinema would be enormous. By the late 1960s and 70s, the old studio system collapsed. A new generation of filmmakers rose, young, rebellious, and fearless. Directors like Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, and Francis Ford Coppola changed everything. They treated films as personal visions, not factory products. Movies like Jaws, Star Wars, and The Godfather didn't just succeed, they reshaped the industry. The blockbuster was born. Summer releases, merchandising, sequels, franchises, Hollywood became global. By the 1990s and 2000s, technology transformed filmmaking again. CGI replaced physical limits, digital cameras replaced film reels, green screens created entire worlds. Hollywood was no longer just a place, it was an idea. Films were now made all over the world, but Hollywood remained the symbol of cinematic power, a place where dreams could be made or destroyed. Today, Hollywood is changing once more. Streaming platforms challenge theaters, independent creators compete with studios, audiences are global, diverse, and demanding. Yet the heart of Hollywood remains the same. It is still a place built by people who chased light, literal sunlight at first, and later the spotlight of fame. It was shaped by rebels escaping control, by dreamers who believed stories could move the world. Hollywood was not born glamorous. It was built out of dust, fear, ambition, and imagination. And every time someone sits in the dark, watching a story unfold on a glowing screen, Hollywood lives again.